back to Car Juice. Today I'm going to be giving you guys the squeeze on the 2025 BMW M5, known as the G90. The G90 M5 is the latest and greatest version of the BMW M5, now featuring 717 horsepower from a hybridized drivetrain with the same 4.4 liter V8 that was in the F90 M5. This car is finished in Ruby Star Neo. If you guys are interested in this particular vehicle, hit me up at BMW Cincinnati North. This is just a very nice spec. And I mean, 717 horsepower and a 0 to 60 at 3.1 seconds means that this thing is pretty fun. Something that I guarantee you will be a comment at the very top of the video is, oh, the new M5 is so heavy. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand. I completely understand. As an enthusiast myself, it is something that's a little bit different, but I can tell you that driving this thing from the quarter mile from my dealership to the parking lot where I record my videos, this thing is freaking fast, and it's still an M5. The performance and the torque off the line actually feels crazier than what was offered in the F90, and the exhaust note is slightly more deep and personality ridden compared to the previous generation, F90 M5. It's a very deep, very cool exhaust. Base price on the 2025 M5 is $119,500. The custom individual paint is a $5,000 paint job, and then we've got the silver on black extended merino leather. You can see the M mirrors always kind of have that little bit of a flag that goes down the side of them. Very aggressive looking, more personality than the regular mirror caps. And then you also get this nice rear spoiler. The carbon fiber looking absolutely illustrious in this nice spring weather we're finally having. Also, while we're on the topic of carbon fiber, we do have a carbon fiber roof. You can no longer get a non-carbon fiber roof on an M5, which I like. Alternatively, you used to be able to option them with just a sunroof, but now you can only get the carbon fiber roof. Moving on, we have the executive package, which is going to get you an iconic glow LED kidney grille. I'll show that to you in a second. Front and rear heated seats, a front ventilated seat, an interior camera to tell you if somebody broke into the vehicle, and then this thing will also be able to park itself. It can park itself using the 4 cameras on all 4 corners of the vehicle. They're all 4K, and you can also pull up a video of where your car is parked at on your phone. Another camera is going to be here in the front. Next to the camera, you're going to see that iconic kidney grille. Whenever you lock or unlock the car, it does kind of pulse, and it will actually light up with the rest of the vehicle. I wish it wasn't so bright out because you'd be able to see it. The other thing that's kind of cool is that as the kidney grille lights up, your headlights are going to animate, which looks really cool. Another thing I want to mention on this kidney grille is whenever you plug the car in at night, it's actually going to pulse and let you know that the car is actively charging. So on the M5 and pretty much M cars in general, you're going to have a staggered wheel setup. So we've got 20-inch hand-cooked tires here in the front. Personally rock hand cooks on my 335. I absolutely love them. The size of 285/40 20-inch wheels in the front. And then I'm guessing probably 315s in the rear. These are very grippy as well. 295/35 21s, ZR rated wheels, so they're very fast. Some cool things also on the exterior of the car to mention. The new M5 does have the M5 logo embossed into the Hofmeister kink. And then you get a very aggressive rear diffuser that comes out of the back, kind of looking like a Lego Technic kind of vibe. It's very interesting. Something that I do want to point out, I mentioned this on my 540 review, which you can find a link to in the comments below. The back end of this thing kind of looks like an Avalon, but the right color on this car makes it look like absolutely amazing. A very popular color has been the frozen black. We've ordered in 2 of those and they basically sold immediately. I don't want to forget, you can get different colored calipers. You can get black calipers, blue calipers, or red calipers, depending on what your heart desires. This one has black, which I think really ties the whole scheme together. We did want to order bronze wheels for this thing whenever we were ordering it, but unfortunately they were sold out on the competition thing. So unfortunately weren't able to do that. So with the M5, your back seat is going to be pretty decently sized. The other nice thing on M5s is you get these different shades here in the rear. So the ones on the side are manual. You can pull it up on either the side doors, and then you have a rear shade that actually is going to extend out from that little plastic thing in the back. Let's see. So headroom in the back seat of the M5, we got about 3 inches or so of headroom. I am, again, about the size of Danny DeVito, but 3 inches or so of headroom. And then as far as legroom goes, sitting behind a 5'8" driver, I have over 7-8 inches or so of legroom. So really not bad at all. So yeah, if you were sitting in the back seat of the M5, you're going to be very comfortable no matter what. Sitting behind probably a 6-foot driver, you're gonna find yourself in an equally comfortable position. Let's see, so got probably 3 to 4 inches or so of legroom sitting behind somebody at 6 foot. So you could fit 2 passengers in the rear of the car at 6 foot, probably with no problem. The rear climate controls are pretty much just reduced to these on and off switches here. You can turn off the airflow as you'd like, and then you have 2 USB Type-C connectors there in the center, and then you have a extra travel port in the back. So 4 USB Type-C connectors in the rear. You do have extra vents that come on the side, so not too bad there. And then you have a little cup holder that's down in the side of the door card. The Bowers & Wilkins lights do light up. The Bowers & Wilkins is an amazing sound system, so you've got Kevlar in the mids, diamonds in the tweeters. That is like one of the coolest things about working for BMW is you learn about the way that the Bowers & Wilkins things are designed is essentially they don't block any additional audio that comes through them. So you're getting it basically as if there was no grate in front of it at all, which is pretty cool. Cup holders in the back are my favorite flavor of cup holders. Gonna grab the side of your drink. And the inside is also leather wrapped, which is quite nice. The seats are gonna be a bicolor design in the whole entire vehicle. We've got that like penguins type stitching or tuxedo stitching that I like to call it, which looks really, really good. Looking around to the roof of the car, we've got an Alcantara headliner, very plush, very soft, very demure. And then we wouldn't be able to see this very much, but you can actually have a little bit of extra headroom in the driver's seat in case if you have a racing helmet on. All right, so moving on to the interior of the M5, we are going to go over some of the differences between this and say a 550e or a 540. Get this thing kicked on, and since we're in M2 mode, you've got these little hotkeys here, which we call our M buttons. You can hit these M2 button twice. That's going to actually deactivate the traction control and put it into M dynamic mode, allowing this thing to slide around in the corners a little bit more. And then you've got your M1, which I usually recommend just setting to like a sport mode. You can see what these change by hitting the setup key here. And as you hit the setup key, you can see as I hit the M1 and M2 buttons, it's going to automatically customize the drive logic settings, the energy recovery settings, and the drivetrain. So Sport Plus is going to allow you to have access to the full 717 horsepower. Energy recovery on max means that your adaptive brakes are going to work very aggressively, saving you up on some brake pads and increasing braking performance. Chassis response is in Sport Plus, meaning the adaptive suspension is going to be very stiff and let you lean into the corner as needed. The steering on Sport means that basically this is going to be weighted up a little bit more and easier to find the center point on. And then braking performance on Sport also going to be kind of the same thing, going to be very touch and go on the brakes. Personally, I don't really recommend driving in M2 mode unless if you're actually tracking the car. For the most part, I recommend just driving around in M1. It's basically just going to be like Sport, that's set to mid, chassis set to sport, steering set to sport, brakes on comfort. With the brakes on sport, it is just way too much. But that's some of the cool things with the M mode. We also have another button here that is the true M mode. So that will give you 3 settings: sport, track, which basically turns off everything, so we're definitely not going to be doing that. Sport mode, which is going to put all of your vitals here right in the center of the screen and simplify everything. Some of the other cool things on the inside of the car, whenever you put this thing into one of the M specific modes, you're going to actually see you get the M colors here on the lighting. The lighting is still also color customizable, so you can have 15 different colors set on the lights, which looks cool, but I like the Superman type vibe that this thing gives off whenever it's in the M mode. You do have a wireless charger with a vent to keep the back of your phone very cool. The lighting is extended down through the cup holders, and then you have a area over here for your wallet or your keys or various other items that you might not need to have in your pockets while you're driving around. Get your climate control controls here, so this will let you adjust the air control and the direction of the air. And then your climate control and all of your other functions for the car are going to be in the bottom stack of the dash here. I would recommend checking out BMW blog. They have a great iDrive 8.5 tutorial. Again, with iDrive 8.5, you are going to get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I do want to touch on the fact that this thing is a hybrid though. The new M5 is a hybrid because whenever you're going into the city centers in the EU, you actually have to not run a V8 engine. It's too loud for the city centers, pollutes too much, and that's why the new M5 and the new S63 both have the ability to be a hybrid because they have to comply, which at least you can still get the V8. You got more power, and if you don't feel like driving a full-fledged fat M car, you can kick it down and actually still enjoy driving a regular electric or hybrid car. So I do think the M5 is getting a little bit too much hate. I think after a year or so, I think people are really going to start warming up to these. So I don't know. This thing is so stupid fast that I think that it would change anyone's mind pretty quickly. But into a little bit more of that here in the driving portion. The shifter design, we've got this new little paddle shifter here, and it's nice like metal finish, which looks really good. And then we also have paddle shifters. I wish that the paddle shifters were carbon fiber like they are on the M3, M4, and M2, but they still are really nice and pronounced. These seats are very, very comfortable. We've got nice merino leather seats here, and there's an access point in the top of the shoulder area, nice bolstering here on the sides. The headrest is fully adjustable. Something that I think we actually took out of Mercedes books, the crumb catcher no longer is fully crumb catching, and this will automatically adjust as you move the seat forward and back, which is a huge improvement. Also, the ventilated seats have gotten much better. You can activate your heated steering wheel, heated seats, all that right through the dash. It's just one little button. This is for design and aesthetic choices. Potentially with the LCI, we might be moving away from this, but that's just rumors I read on Bimmer Post. I think that is mostly everything that I wanted to talk about on the interior of the car. I'm gonna put one version of you guys here on this window, put another version of you guys up here on the dashboard, and we're gonna take this thing on a quick spin. All right, so in the interior of the BMW M5, you're gonna find yourself in a BMW M5. It's $135,000 on as equipped, so it pretty much drives and feels as such. So it is a little bit different with this thing being a hybrid. It takes a little bit of getting used to. So whenever you turn this thing on, you're not gonna hear the loud rumble of the V8 exhaust right away. You have to go ahead and hit it M1, which is the mode that we're gonna be testing it in, or you have to go ahead and throw it into the sport transmission mode through the Steptronic transmission. Getting the backrest width adjusted. So the driving position, even though I'm, a small dude, I can actually get very comfortable inside of the car, and the bolsters can also expand very well. So you're gonna feel pretty comfortable regardless of the setup. Let's see. I think that M1 in dynamic setting is probably the perfect way to drive this car. The ideal person that's driving this is somebody that, maybe lives in a suburban area, wants to be able to drive a fast car without having to worry about filling it up with gas all the time, but still wants to have a V8 so that they can take it out and, go to Cars and Coffee and do the whole revving thing. So I think the M5 is probably still a very, very good competitor. And, compared to the new S63 that had come out, I think that this is probably still a pretty good option. The M5 has always been the benchmark for high performance sports cars. Something that I noticed on the car throttle video they did was that the brakes got pretty warm on the front. That lends to me thinking that this might not be as good of a track car, which thankfully we still have the M2 and M4 for those kind of purposes, but this thing is like the ultimate sports car, baby supercar daily. I mean, 717 horsepower, Ferrari, Lamborghini, they're all going to be to hybrids, so I think it's fine. If BMW does the same thing. This thing is blisteringly freaking quick. Like, blisteringly freaking quick. But it's also like so supple and like refined at the same time. If you're looking for something that's still just so stupid quick, you're gonna feel just fine with this car. It's insane. And from all the extra features as far as creature comforts go, being able to use your phone as a key, being able to park your park your car with your phone, and then also the cruise control, being able to pretty much drive the car for you. It's pretty sick. And if you're gonna make a loud, bodacious kind of choice like an M5, you might as well get it in pink. So it's pretty sick. I will put a link to the car down in the description below for if you guys are curious on it. I am a little bit sad to see the era of like lightweight sports cars starting to fade, but like, this thing is so snappy off the line. It is just insane. Like, you can't, yeah, it's not the same as an old M5, but you can buy one of those used. The chassis dynamics are just stiff enough and you can still turn it up so that it's, you know, pretty good. I do notice that the braking does feel maybe a little bit heavier than the older M5 did. But you can feel those like electric brakes operating in. So I think that this may end up being like a cheaper to own, yeah, it's a cheaper to own daily drivable type M5. It's 717 horsepower. It's the fastest car that I've ever driven, or the most horsepower car I've ever driven. I've driven some tuned Porsches and crazy things. It's snappy. You can feel the boost mixed in with the EV torque, so it really doesn't feel electric-y. And if you want, you can always kick it down into comfort and comfort sport, and then it goes right into being a very, very sedated, calm, nice, just regular sports car. Pretty freaking cool stuff. Yeah, so that's where I'm actually gonna go ahead and end off my video for you guys. Hopefully you learned something and got a chance to check out this really, really awesome car. If you guys did, please feel free to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below what you thought, and if there's a video, specifically a BMW, that you want me to do a video on, comment that down below and I will do my absolute best to make sure that I do that as quick as possible. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.